And we are live. Happy Saturday evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Unapologetic Tea Time with your host, PG. That's me. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, and everyone all in between. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show today. I'm going to get right into it. First off, I'd like to take a pause and say thank you, Almighty God, for sparing so many people's lives down in Louisiana, Mississippi, um, the outskirts of Alabama, on into Tennessee, up the East Coast, New Jersey, New York, and the like. Yes, there were lives lost, but not as many that it could have been. So we are still wonderfully blessed in that regard because of Hurricane Ida. Ida has wreaked havoc and caused some unprecedented damages throughout the Gulf Coast area and on up the East Coast as she trickled out into downgraded into a tropical storm and into a torrential rainstorm and caused unprecedented flooding up on the East Coast. Like I said, there were lives lost, and one life lost is too many lives lost. But I am still grateful, and I am going to say thank you, Almighty God, that you spared as many as you did. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I hope that you are well and that you are doing good and being safe. We are still in this pandemic. We are still under the Delta variant, and we're trying to deal with it as best that we can, but it is wreaking havoc also. So we not only have wildfires and fires going on in Tahoe and all of the other places, we have hurricane that just hit, as well as a tropical storm, and then downgraded into a tropical depression and downgraded into a thunderstorm that caused flooding as well, some tornadoes and everything all in between. So I'm going to continue to do me. I'm going to continue to bring in the news and information as I see it, live and uncut, raw, and never abbreviated. That is what we all need. We need to hear what's going on, and we need to be in the world of here and now, not yesterday and not some fallacy. I'm going to break it down to you like it should be, and I'm going to tell you like it is the truth. Anything that I state on my show, my podcast, my vlog, it is strictly my opinions, my views, unless otherwise stated. Anything that I have on this show as far as news and information, I will always cite the source or say where it is coming from, unless it is my opinion, and then I will just give you that, and you can take it however you want. You're welcome to comment, negative comments. Hey, you do what you do. But if you become disrespectful, you will be deleted. You will be blocked. That's just the way it is. I welcome good back and forth. I welcome debates. We can agree to disagree, but this is my show, and I'm bringing it to you live, raw, and uncut. So on with that. That being said, as the title goes, the grid is down. Now what? As you all know, down south in the Gulf Coast area, the grid went completely down. completely down in Louisiana. They lost 8 major transmission lines that brought light and communication to the city of New Orleans and surrounding areas. These areas that were affected, including quite a number of parishes, which Louisiana has parishes and not counties, same difference. It included the entire New Orleans metropolitan area on into Mississippi, on into Baton Rouge, and then to the left and to the right and all in between. Homes were demolished, homes were flooded, homes were blown away, roofs were ripped off, sides of buildings were demolished. There were 150 plus mile an hour winds that went through and torrential rain. So the amount of survival is absolutely stunning and tremendous. The amount of loss of life is minimal, but like I said, any loss of life is too many loss of lives. So my hearts goes out to the many people that I know already, family and friends, many ex-co-workers and the like, who have sustained quite a number of things over the last week in regards to the hurricane and the tornadoes and the flooding and what have you. It happened again on the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Some 16 years ago, I lost everything I owned, a business, my home, some rental property, you name it. It was gone in a matter of one act of God or an act of nature, shall we say. So things happen and can happen so quick. But yes, New Orleans was basically an island, had became an island all to itself without any communication whatsoever. No 911, no cell phones, no TVs, no radios per se. What radio stations that could be broadcast were static. No lights, no infrastructure communication like 911, sheriff's, police, ambulance. It was very hard. Hospitals had to be evacuated, some of them. Large hospitals like Ochsner Hospital, several of their areas had to be evacuated. There were holes in their roof. Some patients had to be transported somewhere else. The beds and ICU units throughout the Louisiana region and all around were pretty much full with COVID-19 or COVID patients who have the coronavirus. Everything in between basically almost came to a screeching halt. The lights were out. The city was dark. Looters came out, started stealing. The heat rose. Places were closed. Food was in short supply. Water and ice, of course, was in short supply. Pets were left unattended. Some pets were injured. Some pets probably did not survive. A lot of folks were left without homes to go home to. Some people left and evacuated the city and are now living in shelters and in hotels and with family and friends. And some are probably at this moment in time may even be sleeping in their cars, trucks, and campers and what have you. So this is not over. The cleanup has begun, but we have such a long, long way to go. So let's all be mindful of how precious life is. Let's all not forget and take for granted the things that we do every day, like flipping on a light switch, turning on the kitchen faucet and washing our hands, or being able to use the bathroom facilities in your home, your apartment, or wherever you live, wherever you reside, or wherever you work. A lot of things, guys and gals, boys and girls, we take for granted. let's not continue to do that, because climate change is here. And if we do not do something about it, these type storms are going to continue to grow and become larger, and more destructive and more devastation will occur. This is not fear mongering. This is not something I heard. You can do your own research and come up with the same thing that I've come up with. I don't listen to stupidity. It's one thing that people who know me and the people who've been rocking with me for a few years now know, that if I can't find it or research it and find the same thing that I'm going to tell you, then I don't tell it to you. There's a lot of people out here that haven't been vaccinated for whatever reason. I'm going to ask you, because this is my platform, whether it be small or not, I still am going to continue to do my due diligence and ask that each and every one of you who may not have been vaccinated that comes across my channel, I cannot make you go and get a vaccine. I can't tell you to do what I've done, then that's going to be a good fit for you. But what I can say is it's going to take more than just a few of us to help this entire world become pandemic free. So with that being said, it is vital that more people become vaccinated. Okay, it's going to become, this is going to become the norm, unfortunately. And we all are fighting hard for not to have to live like this. So please think about it. Ask family members who have been vaccinated, ask coworkers, ask people that you meet along the way, their opinions, and think about it for yourself. You want your family to remain safe. You want your loved ones and children and friends to remain safe. If you don't want to do it for yourself, certainly do it for someone that you love or the people that you love, to try to keep them as healthy. And remember, we're all in this together. People are continuing to perish. People are continuing to die from this dreaded pandemic. And I say to you, a lot of this can be avoided. However, it depends on you. It depends on me. It depends on all of us to work together to rid ourselves from this. Don't let it continue to take out our human population just because you don't want to wear a mask or you refuse to protect your precious cargo, your children. Please don't let a mask and a vaccine come between you and what you love. The grid's down. Now what? Let me tell you something. I can tell you this if I don't tell you anything else. When and if your city, your town, or wherever you are goes totally black and you haven't prepped or prepared anything for it, and this could go on for weeks or days or months, even a year or so or longer, then you're going to be up the creek without a paddle, shall we say. When the shit really hits the fan, you're going to be fucked. Excuse my expression, but it's the God's honest truth. You will be fucked. I've always said, prepare today for what may come tomorrow. Spend $1 or $2 every payday, $3 to $5, whatever you can spare every payday. Buy a can of tuna, buy a can of sardines, buy a box of crackers, buy some non-perishables that has long shelf life. You'll be glad you did. Because if you are on a total electric system, meaning in a house, totally electric, meaning in an apartment, totally electric, a condominium, a mini house, a tiny house, a trailer, an RV, a camper, whatever, you still have to eat and you still need clean water to drink. Your pets have to eat and they need clean water to drink, whether it be a cat, a monkey, a goat, a dog, doesn't matter what it is, a wombat, or whatever, a skunk, a squirrel, a raccoon, doesn't matter. If that's your pet, then that's a part of your family. Try to get all you can get with whatever your resources are. Right now, some of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us are living hardly no paycheck to paycheck, but we are in survival mode. So I say to you, try to stretch what you can and make the best of situations. Go to your food pantries if you can. Go to your church pantries. Go to your neighborhood community pantries. Find where the resources are by calling 211 in your area, in your township. If you are in need of things, there are resources that are available. I can't speak for your town because I don't live in your town. I know where I live and I know what's available in my town. You know, if you have a neighbor across the street, let's all work together. Please try to communicate, especially if those are elderly people. Knock on their doors, pick up the phone, perhaps call them and see. If you're going to the store and that elderly neighbor hardly gets out anymore or is afraid to go out because of what is going on, see if they need something and try to help pick it up for them and bring it back. You don't have to go inside of their homes or whatever. Put it by the garage door, put it by their porch or their steps or stairs or whatever you can do. Each one save one, but we have to be able to save ourselves first before we can do anything for others. Please take this into consideration, y'all. We all have to work together again to get through this. This is not something that 18 plus months now, we have been in this and we're still in it and we're still going through it and we have a long road ahead of us. A long road. Instead of it getting progressively better, it looks as though it's getting worse. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to pull any punches with you. I get my information from the World Health Organization, from the CDC, from the news, from reading medical journals and periodicals, and doing my own research, not going by the hearsay and the naysayers. When the grid goes down or whatever I'm saying, you may wonder, what does grid down mean? It means living without electricity and everything else that runs on it. For instance, if your water system is run off of electricity, in order to be able to pump the water into your home or wherever it's coming from, then you won't have any running water either. Okay? Cell signals. Electricity has to be able to receive. Those signals have to be able to be received by communication towers that has electrical hook to it. Therefore, when the grid goes down completely, when and if, or when it's down, you may not have cell phone coverage. I suggest to you and yours to get yourself a battery operated radio or hand crank radio so that at least you may be able to hear a portion of the news for your surrounding areas. Unfortunately, you won't be able to worry about what's happening in the north, but you will be able to probably stay up to date on what's going on in and around your geographical area that you reside in. Always, always, before anything or before a disaster strikes, it's always helpful to have a plan in case a disaster strikes. The time to prepare for any disaster is not after the son of a bitch hits or strikes. It is before it even happens. Sure, you can have a plan and that plan can be altered because of the scenario that you are in or you're faced with. But at least have a plan. At least have some things together that you can put your hands on or know that you can eat for the next 3 to 5 days. Beans and franks, beanie weenies, pork and beans, tuna fish and crackers, things of that nature. You have an empty bucket, 5-gallon bucket. You can make a compost toilet or whatever it is you need. You have extra toilet paper. You have some Dial soap or antibacterial soap that you keep on hand. You will be able to wash. Fill up or gather up some water. Store that water in a clean, dry place, preferably not on concrete. Hey, Tim, I'm great. Glad to see that you can join me this evening. I'm doing great as I can be. Sometimes we all will put on that smile, and underneath it may be so, come see, come sa, who knows? Or it may be hell on wheels, but I'm just going with it. So prepare, like I said, because when the grid goes down, like to my friends and family in New Orleans and all those surrounding areas, a lot of them were prepared, but then they weren't prepared for everything. A lot of things happened that they didn't even take into consideration that would necessarily happen. So yes, you can have a plan of action and you can put your plan in place, but a lot of times that plan has to be altered or changed around because of the scenario that you were thrown into. But at least if you have a plan, you can always alter the plan. But if you have no plan, then you're fucked because your life is already chaotic. It's going to be even worse if you have no plan and you don't know. You just out there willy-nilly style, and I ain't got no electricity, no water, no food, no nothing. You screwed. That's all we can do, baby, is go with the flow. I'm going to tell you 10 things that I would suggest that you do when and if the grid ever goes down in your neck of the woods or wherever you reside. Is try to locate your family members and friends or whatever. Try to locate them. When it first happens, immediately there'll still be electricity going through the line. So you'll have a little bit of time. You'll have a small window of opportunity to make a couple of phone calls right quick or send out a couple of text messages and probably receive a few. Start implementing whatever game plan or whatever plans that you have discussed with your significant other and or your family members. Start implementing that plan and put it in place. What's going to make a difference is a lot of times we need two different plans of action. We need one for spring and summer months, and we need a different plan of action or game plan for your fall and winter months. Okay, so keep that somewhere. Keep those things handy so that you will be able to at least, you're nervous already, anxiety, adrenaline flowing. You don't know what the hell is going on. There's going to be some undesirables that will be lurking and what have you that will literally come on your property and try to take what you have, what little you have. So you still have to be prepared and you still have to be focused and vigilant and have a calm mind in order to be able to survive. You just have to try, and you just have to know what it is that you're trying to do in order to accomplish it. Otherwise, with no plan at all, you're destined for failure. You're destined, for expulsion, basically. The second thing I would do is investigate the cause of the power outage. Investigate, such as hurry up and turn on the radio. Hurry up and run across the street to the neighbors or run next door or go out, be outside for when your neighbor's coming outside looking, whatever. Say, hey, what did you hear? What do you think is going on? Investigate. Listen out for the news. Listen out for maybe the emergency siren to go off. Listen out for maybe a bullhorn that may have a recorded informational statement. Listen to the radio. They will broadcast something. Yeah, I'm sure. Yep. That's a lot. Wow. Truly blessed. Truly blessed. My friends weren't that blessed down in New Orleans, my former home, born and raised in Louisiana. I've been running from hurricanes and tornadoes all my life. And after Hurricane Katrina 16 years ago to the day that Hurricane Ida struck, I said, no more. That's it. I'm leaving Louisiana. And I left my home that I so dearly loved and started a new life in a new place. But investigate the power outage. Sooner or later, you will find out what's going on. It could be EMP attack. It could be an attack on the power grid. It could be germ warfare, chemical warfare, whatever. Find out. Sooner or later, you will know what's going on. It's not going to take long, but you want to at least, because that way you can figure out how to maneuver, how to go about putting those plans that you've made all along and thought about for all this time, for when and if the power grid ever went down, you would do certain things. The third thing that I would probably do is I prep and I have things already, but I would run as quick as I can down to the nearest store, the grocery store. Not to loot or steal or anything of that nature, but to grab some things that I really might want that's going to appease me when the shit done hit the fan and I ain't got nothing else and things are really going bad and going rough. At least I can chow down maybe on a honey bun. At least I could take half of a honey bun and make myself happy for a little while. At least I can have a candy bar before all the, have some cash, take maybe somebody with you, and hurry back to wherever your location is to bug out or bug in place. The fourth thing that I would do probably is divide up the scenario or the onset of the grid being out. And I would divide it into two things. The night grid onset, making sure my lanterns are working, making sure get out the candles, things of that nature that's going to give me some kind of light, because it's going to start to get dark at one point or another. Yep, that is a mess. In New Orleans and the surrounding metropolitan area, there was over 1 million people without power. Power is slowly starting to come back, but people were still without food, without water. They lost all of their food in their refrigerators and freezers. Restaurants lost everything as far as their freezers, their cold boxes, their walk-in coolers. All of that has to be destroyed. They were already damn near closing even more of them. And now this happened. So I'm sure some of them won't come back. It's really sad. And we're still dealing with the pandemic and the Delta variant. And now there's a new variant that's they're closely watching, that's called the MU, which is supposed to be even worse than the Delta variant. So with that being said, I'm still going to get back and not lose track, because I won't be on very long. I'm going to run down to the Kroger before they close shortly, because I really need to calm my nerves and get me a pint of ice cream. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to treat myself to a pint of ice cream. I don't have any in the freezer, but that's what I'm going to go and get. I think I'm going to eat some ice cream. But anyway, the next thing that I would do, like I told you, I would separate things into two: the night grid onset and then the daytime grid onset. For the daytime, I would bring out some solar panels if I had them, or whatever I could do. A camp stove or whatever, because you want to try to cook what you can in the daytime, cook a few, heat some soup, something fast, something not so, much to have to deal with. Do some things like that, but get those things so that you can easily put your hands on them for when morning comes and you can try to cook an egg or two. Keep those refrigerators closed, those doors on your refrigerators closed, and your freezers, if you have a freezer, closed. Those things will last for 3 to 5 days sometimes. That's inside because it's still cold. If it's in the winter months, then make sure dump stuff, clean out that refrigerator quickly enough, dump it in coolers, throw as much ice on it as you can. And if it's freezing outside, then you want to put that stuff outside on the porch, or on a back patio, somewhere inconspicuous, but yet somewhere where it's going to help maintain the coldness of your coolers and keep that ice from, melting so much. That was basically 4 and 5. 6 is fill up your water containers, of course. Any water reservoirs or anything that you can. Oh, you having a birthday party. All right, now I'm going to call you on your birthday and wish you happy birthday. Got to do it, Ain't nothing like celebrating a birthday. That's awesome. Fill up some water containers. Fill up the sinks. Fill up maybe the bathtub. Or, if you got 2 bathrooms, fill up 1 bathtub full to the brim. If you got a hot tub on your patio or back porch or whatever, fill that son of a bitch up. No, I wouldn't drink that, but you could certainly take a bath in it or dip a bucket and use that to sanitize yourself with or bathe with. Those are things that you can do. You got to think, you got to have some of this written down, because like I said, you will forget, you will be running around in a circle and nothing will be getting done. And meanwhile, time will be wasting. Once you've drained out everything, the water and stuff, shut that water off at the meter. I tell everybody, get a wind-up clock or a wind-up watch, or a watch for your arm that winds itself up, self-winding watch with motion, with movement. It's great for an Apple Watch, but an Apple Watch ain't going to do you a fucking bit of good when the power is out and you can't charge that son of a bitch. All it is going to be black on your arm, and it's going to be blacked out just like the fucking power grid. Okay? Your ass will be in the dark. You won't even know what time it is or what day it is, because sooner or later you will lose track of time, and you will not know unless you can work a sundial or what fucking time it is. So keep a wind-up clock handy somewhere. It doesn't have to be big. It can be small. Wind that bitch up and set the time immediately. That way, at least you have something to go by and you won't lose track of time and what day it is. Or like I said, have a watch that you can go and get out of your jewelry box or your dresser drawer or whatever, wherever you keep it, or out of the cabinet, wherever you got it. It could be a little cheap something, something that you can wind up, self-winding, or one that you wind up. Some of y'all ain't gonna know nothing about that, but they still make them. You can buy them used on eBay somewhere. Set up your kitchen area. Your kitchen's going to have to be turned upside down, basically. Set that kitchen up the way that you need to set it up to be able. You need a little hand washing station. You need to fix a little porta potty or something, or a bucket with a little water in it, or some sand and maybe some cat litter, or some wood shavings, sawdust, and some cat litter. Those are some things that you can throw in that bucket and you can urinate in, and you can do number 2 if you need to. Keep some plastic bags. Make your little concoction, put it in the plastic bag, put the bucket in the plastic bag, put the cat litter and the sawdust or whatever you have, some newspaper, whatever. Do your thing, tie that bag up, dig a hole, bury it, or whatever you can do. During the day, if you can still drive around town and you got some gas, if it gets real raunchy, drain your gas, siphon it up out your tanks. Open your gas door on your vehicles in your driveway. Face your vehicles facing out of your driveway or your carport. Face them out. Open the gas door on your vehicles. See, because when those low lives and those undesirable motherfuckers come a looking and searching and peeping around and see what they can steal or try to siphon your gas, they already know. When they see some shit like that, they know maybe somebody done already hit them. So let's not go there. Okay, it's a trick. All right, baby, do you? Great seeing you on tonight. I'm going to give you a shout out and a holler on Monday. Get you some rest. Love you. But a lot of people don't know that. If you can siphon out the gas, put it in a gas can, store that gas somewhere in your garage, with the cap, with the breather cap off, so nothing explodes or whatever. And then when you really need that gas, put that shit right back in your vehicle, start it up and ride on. You want to set up, your 12-volt appliances, such as like a 12-volt fan. Plug that in somewhere to your little charging station or whatever's going to give you a little juice, or to your little solar panels or whatever you got to help you sustain some kind of power. Sometimes we can just get by with a laptop and our cell phone, and perhaps a little fan if it's hot. You got to do what you got to do. Number 9 is definitely you want to implement your security plan. If you have, say, for instance, it's you and your girlfriend, or you and your wife and, a teenager. You and your wife take turns sleeping. You sleep for 3 hours or 2 hours. I'm going to sleep for 2 hours or 3 hours. And we do this. Maybe let the teenager, sit on the couch or whatever and guard the door. And y'all sleep together for a couple of hours. And then let the teenager, get some rest. Because they're not going to be as focused as an adult would. But it can be done. Implement your security plan. Practice makes perfect. Do your vehicle prep. Try to clean out your vehicle. Take everything out that you think you won't. Take everything out that you think somebody might come along and try to steal. Hide it. Bring it inside. Do something with it. Put it in the garage. Put it under lock and key. Get out, unfortunately, get out that shotgun. Get out that pistol. Get out that bow and arrow. Get out whatever you need. Get out that hunting knife. Get out your cane knife. Get out that machete. Make sure that those things are at arm's reach. That's what to do when the goddamn grid goes down. But the reality is, when the grid goes down, you got to have a plan. You got to implement your plan. My plan may not work for you. Your plan may not work for me. It's going to depend on each individual circumstance, or someone's individual circumstances. How your money running, if your money funny, how is your food supply, where you actually live. Are you inner city? Are you rural? Are you in the suburbs? Are you, is this urban? Is this, what? Do you live in an apartment building? Do you live in a garage apartment? Do you live in a basement apartment? Do you live in a trailer? Do you live in an RV? Do you live in a motorhome? Do you live in a high rise? Do you live in a condominium? Do you live in a duplex? Do you live in a single family home? Do you live alone? Do you have roommates? Can you go up the street to your mama's house? Can you go up the street to your neighbor's house? Can y'all kind of form an alliance together? The more the merrier. But then, if it happens right now to you, remember you're in a global pandemic still. Remember the Delta variant is still rapid and running around. The coronavirus is still out there lurking her ass around. So you still have to, on top of everything else, while you're watching this and that, you got to watch yourself and still try to be healthy as you can and wear your mask. Wash your hands. Stay from around a whole bunch of people. Okay? You got to do all of that. So yes, ain't no joke about it. It ain't easy. But this is real. Because the grid is going to go down again. Whether it's in your town, my town, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Wyoming, Minnesota, Texas, Utah, Nebraska, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Washington, Delaware, Maine, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan. It's going to go down. May go down in multiple states. May go down in multiple towns. It may go down in multiple places, all at the same time. Then what? Have a plan of action. Put that into play. Put it into motion. May take you a little bit, but bit by bit, having a plan will keep you out of such chaotic time as, oh shit, now I got to run to the store. My money funny. I'm going to have to try to buy some matches. I'm going to have to try to find some emergency candles. Let me see what else I'm going to need. I'm going to need some canned goods. I'm going to need, your mind is not going to be able to think about all of that shit. It's just not. A lot of people, I don't carry cash. Let me tell you something about cash. Cash is king. Cash will be king for a long time. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care about the cryptocurrency. I don't care about the digital currency. Cash will be king. Let me tell you something. You got something in a motherfucking vault that's a bunch of numbers and shit, and you can't get hold to it, and it's fucking tangible, and I can't hold it or spend it in my fucking hand. Let me tell you something. You ain't gonna be able to buy a goddamn thing. You can have billions of dollars in crypto fucking currency. They ain't gonna do you a damn bit of good. You ain't gonna be able to access that motherfucker The grid's down. You don't have any electricity. Your computer ain't gonna fucking work. Like talking about the internet's down. Fucking phone service is down. The goddamn stock exchange is down. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna spend your cryptocurrency? Who you gonna trade it with? You gonna barter? You better have some fucking money on you. You understand? Don't have to be a lot, but you better have some cash. You see? Because when you come a knocking and you need some coffee or you having a fucking nicotine fit, I'm gonna sell you a couple of cigarettes. Yeah. You need some coffee, I'm gonna sell you or possibly barter or trade with you some fucking coffee for something else that I want. Or you got some money, I got some coffee. I don't want no fucking cryptocurrency. What am I do with it? I don't want to I owe you some cryptocurrency. Motherfucker, I ain't never see you again. You see what I'm saying? So get out of the routine of I don't carry cash. Put some cash somewhere, even if it's a fucking roll of quarters, even if it's 2 rolls of quarters, even if it's 2 rolls of dimes. That's still $10. That's better than no dollars. Everybody needs at least $25 to $50. My thing is I say everybody needs at least $100 in cash at their house somewhere. That might not get you a whole lot, but it'll get you through some stuff. Trust and believe. I'm just saying, y'all, you got to do what you got to do. And when the shit hits the fan, when the grid goes down and you don't have a plan, only the strong will survive, period. That's my 2 cents. You've been listening to PG with Unapologetic Tea Time. It's been good. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for following me for as long as you have been rocking with me. Thank you to Tim who popped on tonight. I'm going to shout him out in an early birthday. Happy birthday, Tim Windsor, from Unapologetic Tea Time. You guys, I want you to stay safe. I want you to continue to try to help each other, help us all work together to get out of this predicament that we're in right now. Because trust and believe, things are going to continue to happen at record proportion. Things are going to continue to happen, and they're going to be more devastating and more devastating each time. This is the handwriting that we're looking at on the wall right now. There's not an end in sight to this, y'all. Do you, and I'm going to do me. I love you all. Each and every one. Remember that a smile is free to give. It doesn't hurt to share information or a resource with someone. If you can't use it, pass it on to the next person. Everyone needs someone. And please just know that you can be the light in someone's darkness. Have a great rest of your evening. Please be safe. Do you, and I'm going to do me. Bye now.